More on that and the other stories making a buzz online today. I'm joined by James Creedon for Media Watch. Hi there, James. And this is quite a shocking story, isn't it? An online macho club of journalists.
That's right.
Who were dedicated to harassing other journalists who were women.
It is shocking. A lot of people are really appalled by it, not just in France, but overseas. Today in particular, it's sort of got a lot of attention in global media. It's been referred to as the Bullingdon Club, a French journalism Bullingdon Club, or an old boys club. Certainly, it was cliquey, and even if a lot of these journalists were working for left-wing media, they were behaving in a way that was very anti-women, anti-LGBT, everything. It was
journalists at the Libération were among those.
That's right. Libération broke it, and two of their journalists have been suspended. Two other journalists who had been working for the newspaper have also been given a warning, basically. And so now Libération has been saying that this is a kind of a day of reckoning, essentially. That's been picked up there by an opinion piece in The Guardian. And in their they had an editorial piece today, which I think, where is it now? There was an extract of it that I was going to show. But in any case, before I get to the other comments, in the editorial, they're saying there have to be consequences if you have a private or an anonymous Twitter account, because this was a closed Facebook group of people who were participating in this Facebook group were then on Twitter using anonymous accounts, sort of trolling, essentially.
But they're not got any work to do.
You would think they'd have better things to do. But essentially, in terms of consequences, Libération is saying we're going to study now whether our journalists who have anonymous accounts not associated with their work profile,
anyone could set up
if that's allowed, because actually, if you're perhaps you
that would be difficult.
That is
but it's interesting because the whole Balance ton port, which was the French version of the Me Too movement, started in media, didn't it? But it seemed like not many people learned their lessons.
That's right.
And these are veteran journalists, aren't they?
I know. And what it points out is I suppose the downside of freedom of speech, and certainly when it comes to social media, it sort of has, if you like, there's an article here that talks about Twitter. Did we create this monster? How Twitter turned toxic?
Well, there's freedom of speech and there's taking somebody's face and putting it on a pornographic image is not freedom of speech.
And unfortunately, there is a bit of a Pandora's box effect when it comes to social media. This is the downside of it. The upside of it is it gives massive opportunity for people to express themselves freely, but then the downside is people's shadow self emerges, and they, all of their nasty stuff that they'd never say to somebody in person or face to face, they do it in this anonymous forum. So in particular, I think for journalists, that's problematic. Senior French journalists should use their power against matters like sexism, racism, discrimination, and so forth, instead of starting it all up. I think that's why people have been particularly shocked. Journalists, you would expect them to have a higher standard. Another comment here saying actually the hiring process in France should become more transparent. A lot of the time hiring is done through people you know or within a newsroom.
There's a lot of cronyism in this.
There's a lot of cronyism, and in fact that promotes the kind of white male sort of macho culture, some would argue. And if you have a more transparent and public hiring process, it'll promote more plurality, more diversity, and less of that sort of an old boys club culture. Lots more to say on it, but I think that's probably...
Yeah, I mean, you go through any social media sites these days and it's just insults and personal attacks, I think, more and more. I don't know if you agree with me.
And I think we mentioned this yesterday, just very briefly, to show how shocking this actually is, that the editor-in-chief of Les En Rock, which is a big culture sort of music magazine here, it's confirmed that he set up a fake job interview with a woman, secretly recorded it, and then put the audio on SoundCloud. That kind of behaviour, it's really base harassment, and it's kind of shocking that people who are at the very top of the, I suppose, newsroom pyramids were involved in this kind of stuff. So that's why people are so appalled. And one person compared it to a French movie, Ridicule, which features the court of Louis XVI, where basically it's all about humiliation, it's all about making people laugh at the expense of others. And
bullying.
Bullying, essentially.
Pretty much.
That's one word sum up of it.
We've got to leave it there because we've got to get on to Katy Perry's shoes and a dating app for cows. Take it away.
There's so much to say. In any case, Katy Perry, this is the latest blackface controversy, and it's about... She's
had to apologise so many times, this girl.
That's right. Now, it's about a pair of shoes. Judge for yourself. I'll scroll down because I'm not... We need to get the visual to understand this.
And this comes hot on the heels of the Gucci scandal.
That's right. A lot of people feel that this is overblown, right? Because you have two different colours with a kind of a facial type motif on the shoe, beige and black. And this particular opinion piece, for example, in the Australian media says, no, it's not racist. Can a shoe be racist? No, Katy Perry's shoe is just a shoe. And
but they've been withdrawn, haven't they?
Because I think it's such a sensitive issue now that if there's even the hint of a slightest possibility that it is inspired by blackface, then it's going to have to go.